All right, Pastor, today is the day. I am super excited. I'm super pumped and I'm ready to go because today is the day that we open up the doors. Today is the day where you get to start to discover how to have more margin in your time, how to have more margin in your finances, while at the same time growing your church, growing your ministry, growing your faith community. I am super excited to open the doors to you today, and I'm going to tell you all about it in the next few moments. So let's get started. So the big question is this: how do pastors like us who remain focused on the mission of Jesus and serving our communities without being distracted by everything in the world around us, how do we increase our effectiveness while living a lifestyle that doesn't compromise our health, our families, or our personal relationships with Jesus? That's the question this podcast is going to answer. I'm Dr. Brandon Party Cooper, and welcome to the Ministry Hackers Podcast. Welcome to this episode of the Ministry Hackers Podcast. I'm super excited, and I am super ready for today. And I've been talking about it for a few weeks now. I've been planning for it for the last 8 months, and I've been preparing for it for almost 25 years. But today is the day that we open the doors to the Dream Life in Ministry Cohort. Now, if you don't know what that is, or you haven't heard any past episodes or received any emails from me, let me explain to you exactly what the Dream Life in Ministry Cohort is. One of the things that I have sought after for the last several years is I've wanted to help pastors create a lifestyle, create a way of living that allows them to do all the things that they have loved to do in ministry: reach people, impact people, reach their communities, make an impact in individuals' lives, while at the same time not having to sacrifice their time and their energy with their families for their own personal health and just the things that make life fun, like having a hobby or going traveling or, whatever it is that we all like to do. We all have hobbies, we all have interests, we all have things outside of ministry. But unfortunately, most of us spend a lot of time, all of our time, doing ministry. And the little bit of margin that we have, the little sliver of time that's left over, we try to funnel that either to our families or, quite honestly, I know in my case, I tend to funnel that into all the other things that I have to do, which means that my family doesn't get as much time as they need, which means that I don't really have any other hobbies or interests. I don't have anything else that I really get to do. And I just think that's an unhealthy way of living, and it's evidenced by the number of pastors and ministry leaders who are leaving the ministry every day. It's evidenced by the number who struggle with anxiety and stress and depression. Even the suicide rate among pastors is going up. And so several years ago, I started asking God, how do we fix this? How do we create a better environment for ministry? And he gave me kind of two areas that we had to fix. One, we have to have more margin in our time. And two, we have to have more margin in our finances. Now, you and I both know we didn't go into ministry to make a lot of money. We didn't go into ministry with the idea of being rich and well off and having this lavish lifestyle. We've all resigned to that. But I also don't think that that should mean that we should struggle in debt. We should struggle to make ends meet, that we should struggle to feed our kids, struggle to, just for the basic necessities of life. But I know many of us do. And maybe that's where you are today. And that's where the Dream Life in Ministry Cohort really started to take shape for me. Is I started imagining an environment where pastors and ministry leaders from all over the country could come together, could rally around each other, who could encourage each other, stand by one another, while figuring out and learning how to create margin in their finances as well as in their time, while at the same time watching their churches and their ministries grow. Now, I think for many of us, we think those two things are fight against each other. There's a tension. If I want something to grow, then I have to put more time and energy into it. I have to put more finances into it in order to make it grow. And what I'm saying and what I'm arguing and what I think we can do in the Dream Life and Ministry Cohort is we can see how you can grow something while spending less time. You can grow your church and ministry while spending less time on it. You can grow your church and grow your ministry while spending less finances on it. And I think you can create a lifestyle that you are happy with, that you are fulfilled with, that you get to glorify God in every aspect of life, not just your ministry. And that's where the Dream Life and Ministry Cohort comes in. Today, starting today, for the next few days, all the way up through this week, What we're going to do is we're opening the doors for the first time to the Dream Life and Ministry Cohort. And what we're going to do is we're going to gather as many pastors who want to be together. We're going to gather all of us together, and we are going to start spending time each month learning how to create margin in our finances as well as in our time, and how to grow our churches and ministries to glorify God, to reach our communities, and to have a lifestyle that's fulfilling and full of joy and happiness and calm and relax and peace and all the things that we imagine life to be. And so today, starting today, we are going to open up the doors. And what I want to do is I want to offer you a founder's price. The Dream Life and Ministry Cohort has never been opened up. We have never allowed anybody to step in and be a part of it yet. And so this week, for the first time, the doors are open, and I'm inviting you to be a part of it. We're going to do a founder's price, a founder's opening membership fee. It's going to be $79 a month. And what that means is that from this point on, as long as you're in the cohort, you will only pay that price. After this week, that price immediately is going to go up. Anybody that joins after this week, that price is going to go up, and you get to lock in that price. And over the years, as that price goes up, your price will stay the same, that founder's price, because you're raising your hand and you're saying, hey, I'm willing to try this out. I'm willing to jump on board. I'm willing to learn how to create more margin and how to grow my church and my ministry in a healthy way that's going to allow me to enjoy life, enjoy my family, enjoy everything that God has afforded me and allowed me to do. And so if you raise your hand this week and you say, I want to be a part, I'm super excited, and I want to reward you by giving you this founder's price. Now, what all are you going to find in there? What we're going to do in the cohort is what we are going to walk through the frameworks that I have found that have helped pastors all over the country live the dream life and ministry. Not this lavish lifestyle that you see, in celebrities and even celebrity pastors living. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about living this lifestyle that God has created you to live. When we look at the life of Paul, we know that he had this wonderful ministry and this wonderful opportunity that he traveled all over the place, and he got to start churches and he got to disciple believers, and he got to spread the gospel, and he got to do all these wonderful things. But at the same time, he also had very difficult challenges along the way. He had very challenging situations. He was beaten, and he was, he was kicked out of different towns, and he had whole communities rise up against him. He had a very difficult path along the way. But when I read scripture and when I read Paul's letters, I never get the sense that Paul raised his hand at any point and said, God, I'm done. I don't want any more. This was a bad idea. I'm out. But how many of us as pastors have done that? We've raised our hand and we've said, God, I don't think I can do this any longer. I don't think that I want to be in ministry anymore. For me, that's an indication that we're not living our dream life that God designed for us. When God called you into ministry, I believe he called you into a lifestyle that would be fulfilling, that would be rewarding, while at the same time that would grow the church, grow ministries, and reach communities. I think many of us, we live this lifestyle where we're growing churches, growing ministries, and reaching communities, and we're not fulfilled, where we're overwhelmed, where we're stressed, where we're exhausted, and we just don't have a whole lot left in the tank. And some of us are at a point where we're saying, God, I don't think I can do it any longer. And when I look at Paul's life and I look at what I see in his letters, I just don't see that being the way he served God. And I think that shouldn't be the way we are serving God. And so what we're going to do is we're going to come together each month, and we're going to practically walk through how to transition our lifestyle into this more fulfilling, healthy, long-term, joyful lifestyle, while at the same time growing our ministries and reaching people in our communities. So we're going to gather together once a month and do that. We're also going to have leaders, pastoral leaders, ministry leaders from all over the country. Once a month, we're going to come, bring them in and have an interview. We're going to ask them what their dream life looks like, how they've lived it, how they've figured it out. We're going to learn from those who've gone before us. We're going to learn from those who have figured it out. And we're going to understand how we can start to transition our ministries and our lifestyles and our approach to leadership, how we can do that in such a way that allows us to live the lifestyle God has created for us. So we're going to bring in pastors and ministry leaders from all over the country, talk to them, interview them, get some Q&A with them so we can understand how they've done it, so we can learn how to do it ourselves. At the same time, you're going to get a ministry tool each month. Each month, I'm going to give you a ministry tool that's going to help you make your ministries run smoother, more efficiently, and help you discover margin in your time. Some of it's going to be leadership oriented. Some of it's going to be productivity oriented. Some of it's just going to help you get more things done in a shorter amount of time so that you can go home early, go home and spend time with your family or do whatever else it is you need to do each day. On top of that, you're going to have this community of pastors and ministry leaders that you can connect with. One of the biggest complaints I see all the time and I hear from pastors is that they just feel isolated. They feel alone. They feel like they don't have anybody they can talk to, that they can share their frustrations with or be encouraged by. And so one of the biggest things that I want to do is I want to have a community of pastors who come together and spend time together. A community of pastors who really understand where the other is and can help each other out and keep us from becoming a statistic where we leave the ministry, but help us stay in it for the long haul and go together. I believe that God has always designed us to operate in teams and in groups and in communities, never solo, never on our own. And too many of us, and maybe this is where you are today, you're serving alone and you feel it and you're just not sure you can go any further. What I believe is this community of leaders, this community of pastors and ministry leaders is going to help us do the long-term longevity of ministry, be a part of the marathon of ministry so that we can do greater things, advance God's kingdom, and reach people in a powerful way. There's all kinds of bonuses as well. And so what I want to do is I want to invite you to go to brandonpartycooper.com/mydreamlife. brandonpartycooper.com/mydreamlife. Go there and you'll be able to see everything, all the bonuses, all the extras, all the courses that I'm throwing in there that's going to help you. One is to help you learn how to read New Testament Greek, to help you in your studies, in your Bible or your sermon preparation as you read the scriptures. Another one is going to be a leadership course that I've used for over a decade now to train pastors and ministry leaders to help them develop their character, to help them last longer in ministry, as well as develop the skill set needed for ministry. And so you can go there, brandonpartycooper.com/mydreamlife, and you can see everything there that you're going to get, as well as, like I mentioned, the founder's price of $79 a month. Now, here's the biggest thing, is there is a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you're on the fence and you're not really sure if this is something you want to do, you're not really sure this is quite your thing, just try it. Because in 30 days, if you just let me know, we can refund you everything. You'll get to keep whatever you've received already, and you'll be able to just let me know and I can refund everything back to you. No risk, no obligation. You won't lose anything. 30 days, you try it out. If not for you, that's fine. I will be happy to refund you and to help you out, because my heart and my goal here is to help pastors and ministry leaders. And if you try the cohort out and you say, this isn't helpful for me, then I don't want you to be a part of it, because I don't want you to spend more money and more time in something that's not helping you out. But I believe this is going to be a game changer for a lot of pastors and ministry leaders around the country. I think this is the front end of something that's really going to be powerful as we grow and as we develop pastors and ministry leaders, as we train young ones into ministry, and as we support and uphold the veterans who have been around for many, many years. I know for me, I'm right in the middle. I'm not a young guy who's just starting out in ministry. I have 25 years under my belt, but there are a lot of guys who are farther along than me that have lots to offer. We're going to bring some of them in for the interviews. Some of them are going to be in the cohort to help us out and guide us and learn from us as well. And so I'm in the middle, and I'm trying to bring both ends together so we can have a strong community who love Jesus, who pastor people well, who lead them well, and who have a lifestyle that we are fulfilled with, that we feel proud of, that if we were to just take our lifestyles, cut the ministry out, take our life and hand it up to God, we would say, this is something I'm proud of, and this is something that I can glorify you with. And I think that too many of us are not able to do that right now. And I want to change that for you and for every other pastor around the country who's willing to step in and say, hey, I want to do ministry differently. I want to find a way to create margin in my time, margin in my finances, and to grow my church and ministry. Many of you have incredible talents, incredible abilities, who you can leverage those to find ways to increase your income streams, to increase the finances that are coming in, so you can do things like pay down debt, so you can do things like prepare for retirement, So you can do things like pay for your kids' schooling and college bills, whatever it is you need. We could all use a little bit more margin in our money. We can always use a little bit more margin in our finances, and that's what the cohort's going to do. So again, I want to invite you, go to brandonpartycooper.com/mydreamlife. Check it out. Look at the sales page. If there's anything you have questions on, anything that you're not sure of, feel free to reach out to me. I will be happy to answer any questions, happy to do whatever it is that I can do to alleviate any apprehension, any uncertainty, any questions you have. Because again, there's a founder's price. This is a one-time only opportunity, and this is going to be a game changer for a lot of pastors around the country. And I hope it's a game changer for you. I hope you're willing to take a step of faith out, to jump into the cohort, meet pastors from around the country, and see what God can do if you just had a little bit more margin in both your time and finances, and how much He can grow your church and ministry when those two things exist. All right? Look forward to seeing you in the cohort. Again, brandonpartycooper.com/mydreamlife. Join the cohort. Let's get started. Again, the doors are open just for the next few days, and once the doors close, that price goes away and the doors are closed until the next time it opens down the road. All right? Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next episode.